The Lovers Pentacle, 3, Chapter 5, Page of Cups. Esther spent the evening interrogating Jack about his new girlfriend. She was suspicious of any woman that seemed a little too eager to date her youngest son. And she was an Irish Catholic lady at the age 67. She had long, silver-white hair, wrinkled face, and ash-colored eyes. I'm just saying, Jackie, a woman with a child has an agenda, mused Esther. Shouldn't you be getting going? Asked Jack, trying to distract his mother. I guess, said Kain, thinking that his father didn't want him around. Let me take care of the dishes, said Jack, entering the kitchen. Now put on the new outfit we bought you and go out and have fun with your friends, alright, champ? And you look a little tense, and a bit of the razzle-dazzle might do you good. Alright, Dad, said Kain, giving a fake smile. And you have work tomorrow, so don't stay up too late, said Esther, and do not drink. Sheesh, Mom, Kain is not a little kid. Let him live a little, said Jack. 2 drinks, Kain, 2 drinks minimum, and come before 11, said Esther, setting a curfew. Kain got dressed in all black before heading out, and he tested his single friend Malik to see what he was up to. And Malik was out clubbing in the Flavor nightclub in Coconut Grove. And Flavor was a 2-story building, and the first floor was pop, and the second floor played hip-hop. The second floor also had a raised stage for the shows, and the interior was dark with red neon lights illuminating the surrounding. And the roof had stained glass windows, and while waiting in line to get in, he got a text message from Oberon. What you up to? Tested Oberon. I'm waiting in line at a nightclub. I can text you the address. If you're not too busy, you can join me and my friends, tested Kain. I work at night, tested Oberon. I am free on Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if you're not too busy, we can hang out this Wednesday as soon as you get out from work. I look forward to it, tested Kain, and he erased a response before testing instead. Okay, I will see you this Wednesday. He didn't want to seem too eager. Kain entered the club, and he made his way towards the second floor, and he found Malik in the center of the dance floor. And there was a circle around him as the crowd cheered for him. And Malik was a handsome, raven-haired, green-eyed, tan gentleman, and the former baseball player still maintained his athletic body, especially his impressive caboose. And the woman he was dancing with was equally well endowed, and both were shaking their money-maker to the delight and amusement of the crowd. Malik danced his way towards Kain, and he pulled Kain's arm to force him to dance as well. And his date then summoned her friend to add as Kain's dance partner, and they got into a dancing competition, and Kain tried to give up, but alas, Malik was victorious because he had more practice partying. The hours rolled quickly with Kain dancing while he attempted to have a conversation with his date. And when the rap concert started, the music got even louder, and it became impossible to have an intelligent conversation. And around 10, Kain returned home without a name or even a phone number. Tuesday passed uneventfully, and he spat on Jeremy, and at night he went clubbing with Malik. And while he was fooling about with Malik, there was an emergency meeting in Gen's house, and a relative clean criminal record didn't suffice to put Uncle Gen at ease. And the meeting was held under the guise of a play day. And Carina dropped off her work before making her way to the game room, and this was the first time she had been invited to a Sanson family crisis meeting. And Kain had told her about such meetings, but she had often fancied that her friend was exaggerating. She couldn't help but laugh heartily when she saw the police board with Oberon's face in the middle, and there were red strings connecting to all of the pertinent information about him. Carina sat with Stacy, who seemed the most sensible of the group, and Gen saluted those assembled there before starting official business. What do we know of Oberon Mendel? Asked Gen. Kain told me that Oberon is a bouncer, said Carina, raising her hand, and he's very flirty but respectful, and he likes mating feeding and eating, and he's a total slob who hasn't cleaned his toilet in over a century. And his knowledge of music is wide, but he prefers to listen to smooth jazz, and he lives by himself. He's a bachelor. He doesn't feel guilty about lying just to get into your jeans, but he has a good heart. Alright, so we know that Oberon is a lying womanizer that wants to get into Kain's jeans. They're again adding this to the info to the board. That isn't what I said, but you can interpret my information in whatever way you like, said Carina, pouting. Look, Carina, there's no need to sugarcoat the situation, said Jack. Oberon is a degenerate that is taking advantage of my son, and he got my boy drunk, and he did God knows what to him. That isn't really what happened, said Carina sheepishly. So what actually did happen? Why did Kain tell you? Demanded Jack. Carina realized that this was an ambush, and she hadn't been summoned there to discuss Oberon. They just wanted to know everything that Kain had told her. As Kain's self-proclaimed best friend, she was supposed to know everything that was going on in his life, and the reality was that she knew as much as the others. So you don't have any new information, barked Jack. I'm sorry, but Kain is an adult, so he got a little carried away with his drinking. It is no big deal. And that just means that he was having so much fun that he didn't notice how much he drank. It happens all the time, said Carina. It happens all the time, said Esther, alarmed. What I mean is that it happens to you, it happens to me, it happens to them. All of you need to lighten up about this Oberon fellow. It is still too early to tell whether Oberon is friend or foe, though we should monitor his actions closely before we decide how to proceed, said Stacy. You are right, Stacy, said Gen, agreeing with his level-headed wife. And let us not forget that Kain is grieving because Eugenia dumped him like a sack of potatoes, said Carina. And we may think that he's a fool for feeling the way he does, but even so, we must acknowledge the fact that he is hurting, so be nice to him. Alright, fine, you win this time, Carina, said Jack, folding his arm. This isn't a competition, said Carina, giggling happily. There was nothing she loved more than being in the right. And she suggested, and why don't we do a supervised play date, and we can all go together to the movies, or wherever he wants to go. I don't think Oberon will agree to a supervised play date. He isn't a child, said Stacy. Perhaps we can arrange a bachelor's night out in town, and male bachelors feel more at ease when they travel in packs, and your cousin Rodrigo can act like our eyes and ears. Stacy's plan was voted on, and with everyone agreed to it, it fell on Rodrigo to make the necessary calls. And he called first Oberon, and it was the very reason why Rodrigo was traveling outside his usual social circle. And Rodrigo called Oberon 15 times until he finally answered his cell phone. And who are you, and why do you have my number? Asked Oberon. Took you long enough to answer, said Rodrigo. Tomorrow, ready yourself. Ready myself for what? Asked Oberon, worried and curious. For the thrill of a lifetime. You are coming, aren't you? Asked Rodrigo. It all depends. First, tell me how you got my number. Asked Oberon. Kain gave it to me. The name is Rodrigo, by the way, and you didn't think that you were the only man in Kain's life. Asked Rodrigo, poking Oberon for signs of weaknesses. Is that so? Said Oberon bitterly. Rodrigo held his cell phone at arm's length so that Oberon couldn't hear him giggling. Rodrigo added, so are you ready to run with the wild horses? Yes, said Oberon after hesitating. I will pick you up tomorrow then, said Rodrigo before hanging up. Oberon felt tense after the call, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he was in danger. In the end, he called the only person he could rely on. If he was walking into a trap, he wasn't going to face the enemy alone. Wednesday came, and Kain finished his surveillance without any incident. And in the station, Gen was looking at all of the surveillance tape. The camera showed Jeremy walking the path and going home. And the very same day, a heist had occurred while Jeremy was washing cocoa in Eugenia's garden. He couldn't be in two places at once. But why do they keep insisting on Jeremy's culpability? Asked Kain while eating lunch with his uncle. All the houses that were hit belonged to people who were mean to Jeremy at some point or another. And Lady Agatha said a racial slur to Jeremy, and that very same day her jewelry box was stolen, and Robert Mueller called Jeremy a fag, and 2 hours later his sports ring went missing from his safe. And Jeremy was near the area where the heist took place, and he had a motive, explained Gant. But without physical evidence or eyewitnesses, there is no crime, just false accusations, reasoned Kain. I mean, hear me out, Uncle Gant. What if the victims are also the culprits? You mean that those rich pricks stole from themselves? Asked Gant. Kain, that is ridiculous and also stupid. Why would they do that? It isn't as ridiculous as you might think, Uncle Gant, and it has also been known to happen. Michael's mother-in-law was stole for himself to cause a fight between him and his dead wife. And some rich people are stupid and petty, and they live with the illusion that they are untouchable until they mess with the wrong individual. Uncle Gant and nephew continued to muse about the case, though now their current working theory was that the rich victims had robbed themselves in a vain attempt to get rid of Jeremy. And the working day came to an end, and on his way out he found Siddhartha with a skinny maiden in a golden dress. And when Kain drew close enough, he recognized Jeremy's face hidden underneath a short, straight black wig. And his outfit was complemented by golden bangles, a heart pendant, a hoop earrings, and a diamond-encrusted anklet. I like the new you, Jeremy, said Kain before patting Jeremy's head. A queer smile was painted in Jeremy's face, and he said with a strange inflection in his voice, It is Isis. When I wear this necklace, I become the avatar of Isis. Like the goddess Isis. Pleased to meet you, Isis, said Kain, shaking hands with Jeremy, and he found the game amusing. I heard that you have a new gay friend, and take Jeremy with you tonight, and do a formal introduction between your friend and Oberon and my sister Isis, said Siddhartha bitterly. And he felt embarrassed to be seen in public with Jeremy in that get-up. Siddhartha took Jeremy's hand and he offered it to Kain, and Kain now had full autonomy over Jeremy's fate. And he guided Jeremy to his patrol car, and both rode in complete silence, and their first stop was to his Kain's house. And he installed Jeremy in front of his television with a remote controller, and Jeremy flew to the channels until he found PBS. And his eyes became dreamy while he watched the white swan gracefully glide onto the stage. And Kain went to his bedroom to get changed, and he opened his closet while he pondered what he wanted to wear that night. In the past, he would wear whatever fell out of his closet, and as of lately he was feeling self-conscious about his looks, and Lysandra had rejected him for dressing like a rocker. And his daughter Carina's boyfriend Bruno was always curating his wardrobe, and he claimed to use his outfits to influence others, and as a lawyer he was an expert in manipulating others. And Kain looked at his wardrobe while he pondered what impression he wanted to give a potential girlfriend, and for the first time in his life, he took his time to get dressed. After half an hour, he left his bedroom wearing blue jeans, black shoes, and a black guayabera. He felt that the guayabera told others that he was serious, but he liked to have fun. And he made a final stop to the bathroom to apply cologne, and he combed his hair, and he gave a final look at himself in the mirror before grimacing. He positively hated what he saw. What's the use, said Kain, talking to himself. My mother didn't love me, and it wouldn't surprise me that no other woman wants to be my girlfriend. Kain went to the living room, and he smiled when he saw Jeremy making the ballet movements of a ballerina on the television. And based on how he moved, it was obvious that Jeremy had taken ballet back in high school. As if reading Kain's mind, Jeremy explained, Siddhartha was the one who wanted to be a dainty ballerina, and he learned the craft from his mother. And after she was married, he tried to continue his training in a public school setting, but the bullies had other plans. How did his mother die? Asked Kain. She was in the wrong place, at the wrong time, with the wrong individual that called himself her husband, explained Jeremy before bowing to the crowd. The poor dear was shot in the head by a white cop, and she was a victim of crossfire or of racism, depending on which version of the story you wish to believe. Why are you telling me all this? Asked Kain. No reason. If you do not like my conversation, I can go back to being silent, said Jeremy, pouting. Alright, let's just leave it here. Bye-bye and God bless.